Hello and welcome back. This time we're taking a look at what's new with SAS Viya 2024.07. In this release, we take a look at the new and enhanced developer documentation. We dive into a new available API, take a look at A/B testing in SAS Intelligent Decisioning, and much more. So let's get going. We are starting things off inside of SAS Information Catalog, to be specific, inside of the glossary of it. Here is nothing new in that sense, but what has been made available is the API point behind it so that you can work with the glossary part of SAS Information Catalog in a programmatic way as well. I'm using this as an opportunity to also take a look at the new developer documentation. Here it is. This is developer.sas.com. Here you can find a lot of examples, documentation around all the APIs that are available, open source integrations, and much more. For us, we want to take a look at what is new with the Glossary API. So for that, we are going to go in the API section. And then we are just going to scroll through here until we find our Glossary API. In here, we find ways to programmatically interact with both term types and, if we go down, with terms. If you go into the individual calls, so it's, for example, getting a list of all the terms, we can here now see the definition. We can grab example code in many different languages to get us started and then code right out of the gate with this API endpoint. So this is a super easy way to power charge your API journeys, and it's a lot of fun exploring what's possible there. Let's head back to SAS Viya and switch from SAS Information Catalog to Intelligent Decisioning, where we have a new node type made available to us. If you look in the node menu, you will find that there is a new node called A/B Test. I have already dragged and dropped this node into my decision flow here, and you can see it has this orange color with the little scales at the front of it, and it has paths underneath it. Right now I'm using 2 paths, but of course you can add many more to test different, for example, models, rule sets, or other types of content you have integrated to see how it affects your user interactions. So in my case, what I have done here is I have a champion model in here, and I also have a challenger model. And what happens right now is that I have a 50-50% split between these 2 paths. Now, I can of course adjust it so that maybe 90% go to my current champion model and only 10% go to the challenger to see how it stacks up, but I can individually configure that. In addition, I can also set up a path key, which allows me to ensure that if a customer, for example, comes back and walks through the same decision again, they are scored using the same path through the A/B testing node. That improves consistency, for example. I can do that by just providing an input variable here that could be, for example, the customer ID. That helps me then make sure that once a certain customer has been randomly assigned a path, they will always get that same path again within that decision. That's a great feature as well and helps you to build out and test different behaviors for your decisions. Now, in SAS Viya, let's round things out as we so often do inside of SAS Studio, where we have 4 new steps made available to us. 2 are part of the optimization and network analysis category, where we have cycle detection and reach network algorithms made available to us in a visual fashion. And in the machine learning category, we get the ability to visually build support vector machines, and we also get automated feature engineering. I want to highlight this step a bit more in detail as I like it really much. You can, of course, configure validation and testing data in here, specify your target variable, you can subset your inputs, or the default is to select all columns except the target variable. And then you get a lot of options to configure the behavior of how this automated feature engineering takes place. And finally, you can save the output that has been generated by that step so that you can make use of it in subsequent ETL processing, for example, or automated batch scoring and retraining nodes. And if we take a look at the results that this step provides, you get a detailed list of the different feature engineering techniques applied to your different columns, so you can really understand what went on inside of that step. A very powerful feature that can speed up your data science processes. Now, let's switch gear and take a look at awesome new community articles that have been published in the last month. We are starting things off with tricks for SAS Visual Analytics Report Builder. This is a bonus article. There's already a bunch of them before that, but I really want to highlight this bonus article around best practices on how you chart and visualize your data. There's some really cool tidbits in here that will help you create better consumable reports. Next up, for all the text analytics people out there, how can you get better at building concepts? And there's just some great general ideas and also some very specific helpful tools and tricks how you can write better Liti rules using SAS Visual Text Analytics. And we've already taken a look at intelligent decisioning today, so why not round it out with another intelligent decisioning article, this time around common rule sets. When you are creating them, you can select different types of rule sets, and common is maybe one you are not familiar with yet, but it's a super powerful feature to make things more easy to reuse and thus create a more generalized rule set for different decisions and use cases. Now let's round things out with the new custom steps published in the last month. The first one in a new category that has been added, CV for computer vision, here to create object detection tables, which help you to create your training data set with all the object localized and the labels applied to it. And the second step is around interacting with zip data from SAS Studio to move it or copy it. It's a great step if you have to deal with zip data within your SAS code. I hope you enjoyed this month's episode on all the new features, highlights, and community contributions around SAS Viya. See you next time. Bye bye.